boy, still alive. So thanks for all the questions and suggested topics and whatnot. Really appreciate it. Some of them are going to require some preparation on my part, which hopefully I'll be able to get to this week, since all I have going for me right now is work in the afternoons, like 3 to 7-ish. But there's some low-hanging fruit that I can talk about for a minute today. One of which is post-graduation plans. I don't know. A lot of it's up in the air, primarily because I don't know where I'll be come graduation time. Well, I'll still be here for 2 or 3 months while my wife finishes her fellowship here in Tampa, and then we'll be moving somewhere for her PhD program. Right now, those two most likely places are back to Alabama, where I went to school for a little while and where she got her master's, Auburn University, or University of Kansas, which is in Kansas. Those are very different places, very different economies and job markets and whatnot and so forth. So it's up in the air, and admittedly, I've kind of used that as an excuse to put off job hunting. But also, I've just been kind of meh about math and just school in general lately. I don't know if that's just because I'm getting mad senioritis and I only have 2 semesters left. I don't know what but I'm gonna address that post-graduation, and maybe then when I'm not bogged down with school and extremely difficult coursework all the damn time, maybe I'll feel differently about it and have a renewed interest or whatever. I don't know. But I've taken a couple hours here and there to do some job hunting, primarily in Kansas, because that's my wife's #1 choice for school, and we'll be there 3 to 5 years. So the relatively small amount of time I did spend job hunting, I tried to be as methodical as possible. So I literally just pulled up Google Maps of the city we'll be in, which is Lawrence, and then I also looked at some of the surrounding major cities like St. Louis, and I just looked for all of the large businesses and companies that show up on Google Maps. And then I went through, and if they were obviously technical or something that might involve math, I looked at them. The rest of them I just Googled. So I have a handful here, 5 or 6, 5 actually. And then I also looked at job postings on places like jobs.com and Indeed and Monster and all those typical ones that most people know about. And I made a list of things that could potentially apply to me. Some will require potentially more education or certifications. Things like, these were specific job titles. I don't know what they meant specifically in regards to those job contexts, which I probably should have written down, job descriptions, because these aren't industry standard titles. I think that's kind of the case across the board for a lot of industries. But it was things like investment analyst, actuary, which I know requires a lot of certification over 10 years, data analyst / scientist, research analyst, business analyst, insurance underwriter, logistician, logistician, we'll go with that. I don't do words good. And commercial estimator. And those kind of stuck out to me as being technical, probably, use a fair bit of math or math extensively. Again, don't know. And that's all I've done for job hunting, even though that is less than a calendar year away. Do I need to hop on it at some point? Yeah. Am I going to procrastinate? Probably, like I do everything else. But I don't know. I'm not 100% set on even having math as a career. If I find something else that I like, and it doesn't have anything to do with math or only deals with a little bit of math, and I don't get to use my degree, well, so what if I like it and it pays okay enough to live comfortably. I'm not trying to get rich. I'm not out for, become the next Bill Gates or whatever. I don't have any desire to do that. I just want to live comfortably, That's on the table too. I'm open to possibilities, whatever those may be. And secondly, the other easy question to answer, my favorite classes so far, that's probably tied between abstract algebra, which was mainly focused around group theory, and topology. Both of those, I wouldn't say they go hand in hand, but they both attempt to describe much of mathematics on an extremely fundamental level. And I think that's why I like them so much. I'm always interested in getting to the bottom of things and explaining things in the most fundamental way possible. That's always interested me, I guess, for one reason or another. And those both try to do that. They do it in very different means. Group theory does it with groups, and group operations and relationships between groups and all the different types of groups and all of the applications that come with that. And topology does it with set theory and metric spaces and topologies and things like that. So they have a lot of similarities in that regard, but the way they go about doing things is extremely different. So it's kind of looking through the same kaleidoscope, but just turning it a little bit so that everything changes, and yet somehow everything's still the same. I don't know, it's kind of weird and hard to explain. I went a little more in depth in the video that I made about why I like math. So that may be up your alley if you're interested in, that answer and why. Yeah, that's those two questions. I have all of the other ones that you guys suggested written down. I swear, they're all right here. It's probably not in focus, but I did it. I'm going to try and work on some of these, as many as I can. Some of them are going to take a lot of effort. Some of them, someone asked about Euler's identity and why it involves sine and cosine and all that stuff. Not going to lie, that's a little above my pay grade. If you don't know, if you're not in college yet, then you should quickly realize that if something's not on the syllabus, it's probably not going to get covered. At least not extensively. You might be able to go to professors' office hours and talk to them, outside the context of your class, but if you ask about something that doesn't directly pertain to your class, they're probably not going to give you time of day, because most of the time they're already crunched for time as it is, and they barely have enough time to cover stuff without people even asking relevant questions, much less questions that are kind of irrelevant within that given topic or context. So yeah, some of that stuff y'all suggested, I just don't know. Proofs in linear algebra, my linear algebra course at Auburn involves 0 proofs. So I have no experience with that. I know the University of South Florida, USF, where I go now, their linear algebra course is very proof heavy. That's not at all what I'm used to. So I'm going to have to look at all these and come up with scripts and topics and things in particular to talk about, but they're going to take some effort. So I thought I would answer the easy stuff while I could and then work on the other stuff within the coming days or half week or so. But anyways, thanks for watching. See you next time.